This project, I learned a bit more when I was working on my public health project, where we were supposed to work on a public health crisis, on a public health event that will affect the health of general population, and I chose soil. The reason I chose soil was because there's so much data out there by UN, by WHO, by Lancet, and there's so much data out there that our soil is degrading, and yet nothing is being done in this field. So in the African continent, they are about to lose all their arable soils if they do not change their agricultural methods by 2030. 50% of the topsoil has already been removed in the United States. In Europe, 75% of their soil has decreased their nutrition by 5%. So all these are like data that has been published, and I don't want to bombard you with data. I just want to drive home this message that our soil is degrading. Now, what would happen if our soil degrades? Can I change this? Okay. Yeah. So what happens when our soil degrades? Our gut microbiota is made up from the products that come from soil. So even if you are a non-vegetarian and you say, okay, I don't eat vegetables, your gut microbiota is still coming from the soil, which means if the soil which is generating the food is not enriched enough, the food that you're taking is not enriched enough. For example, the current data has shown, and it's been published, that about 40 crops, and this data was published in 1994, it's not even a recent data, that 40 crops has reduced their nutritional capacity by 50%. Which means, for example, if you are eating an orange to get the required amount of vitamin A, what you were eating 30 years ago, now you have to eat 8 oranges. And which means if our soil keeps on degrading, in 60 more years, the data suggests you won't get any vitamin A from the food that you're eating. So, and why is this happening? The reason is this happening is because of our current agricultural practices. So we are making our soil equivalent to sand. How? By not increasing the organic content, by not following the methods that were used by indigenous community or by native communities that enrich the soil, such as vegetation, mixed cropping, agrocropping. What else? Using multiple cropping to improve the organic content of the soil. So there is this project that's already going on, which is Save Soil. And the goal of this project is to encourage the governments, to put pressure on the government to change the policies in such a way that they focus or promote methods that enrich the soil. And the goal is to enrich the organic content of the soil. And why do we have to increase the organic content of the soil? Me being a medical student, this is very important for me, is because the soil, the food that we are eating, just not affect our physical health. It also affects our mental health. Why? Because the food that we eat, it directly affects, the gut is known as second brain. And there are studies that the gut health defines your vision. The gut health defines your mental health. It works on your anxiety and stress. If your gut microbiota is not healthy, you're going to get inflammatory diseases. There has been a steep rise and increase in the Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, all kinds of inflammatory diseases. If your gut microbiota is not healthy, you're going to get prone to the chronic diseases. So there's a big price associated with it. Our nutrition is more than what's written on a cereal box. We don't even know the minerals and the nutrients that we need on an everyday basis. And the nutrient that is raw, that comes from the soil, is way better than popping in a vitamin A or vitamin C pill. What are the economic costs of degrading soil? So a healthy soil absorbs up to 60% of carbon dioxide from the environment. So if you don't have a healthy soil, sand cannot absorb that carbon dioxide, which means we are not only worsening the greenhouse effects, we are worsening the climate change effect. The soil pollution The pesticides that go in the soil, it directly or indirectly, whether you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian, ends up in your gut. And there has been studies that have shown that some of the stuff they find in the placenta, which is just like unthinkable. And having a degradation of the soil is going to worsen the food crisis in the world. So there is this project, which is Save Soil. If you don't want to like join the Save Soil project, you're like, okay, there are plenty of projects out there that are going on, such as Greenbelt Revolution, Three Sister Revolution in US. So please go ahead, join any program, but bring this to your government that we need to protect our soil. If we don't, our children will not have nutritious food. And won't it be very sad if your child doesn't know what a good orange tastes like? Like people already doesn't know what a good mango tastes like, which is sad. Like I also feel sad for myself that I don't know what a good mango tastes like in Canada. I have to go to a tropical country. Wouldn't it be sad if your children don't know what a good food tastes like? So we have to do it for our children, because if we do not protect our soil now, in 60 years, we would have lost our soil totally. Thank you.